I never realised what a difficult business it is. It is a difficult business. We're having a great laugh. Like, we're enjoying it. So still working at what I'm doing, and I'm going to start another business next year. Extra 25% of turnover will make or break us.
Yeah.
So we have to get there.
Yeah.
And we will turn over every stone till we get that right, and we'll market it, and we'll invest a bit in that over the next 6 months until and hopefully that's was sort of a fairly stable base. I love food and I love cooking. I go to cookery school somewhere every year. I'm heading off in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. I'm going to San Sebastian for a week. One of my best buddies, Jason Ballard, who's one of the directors and one of the investors, it said about 10 years ago, I said, if ever we get a chance, when I get to 65, we're going to open a chip shop. And we're going to have the best chip shop in Dalkey, and that's what we want to do. And if it's not the best, we'll close it down. We used to joke about it. We complement each other in many ways, and it's great fun. And the opportunity came up. There was no takeaway in Dalkey for the last 2 or 3 years, and we were open by early December. We're flying since then.
Welcome to this Flipdish Takeaways podcast. Today I'm joined by Peter Wyse, director of 3 Chips. Peter, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much for asking me.
Yeah, great. And tell us a little bit about 3 Chips. How did you get involved? Where did the idea come from?
Well, I suppose probably about 10 years ago. I love food and I love cooking. I go to cookery school somewhere every year. And I'm heading off in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. I'm going to San Sebastian for a week, and I'll be in cookery school somewhere. But anyway, just aside from that, I love food, and I love and one of my best buddies, Jason Ballard, who's one of the directors and one of the investors, and Camillo, we'd said about 10 years ago, I said, if ever we get a chance, when I get to 65, we're going to open a chip shop, and we're going to have the best chip shop in Dalkey, and that's what we want to do. And if it's not the best, we'll close it down. So anyway, we used to joke about it, and we're all busy doing our own jobs. We're all in different careers, and I'm in property, and somebody else is in parking, and the other is in the restaurant business, and we complement each other in many ways, and it's great fun. And so when the opportunity came up, there was no takeaway in Dalkey for the last 2 or 3 years, because the last takeaway it kind of closed during COVID, and so the premises was vacant for the last couple of years, and it was in poor condition. And just by chance, we kind of got to know the landlord through other social introductions and whatever. So, and he's a good guy, and we're just saying, look, we're interested in the premises. And he said, well, we eventually did a deal and took the lease, but as part of that, we had to refurbish the building and put on a new roof and repair a lot of the interior, and then of course we're fitting it out for a new modern shop. So we invested heavily in the Rolls-Royce of fryers and upgrading the cold rooms, the fridges, all the equipment, and the fit out. So that was a little journey, but we got into that last year. We took the lease last September, and we were open by early December.
And was that something you knew? Did you know all those issues? Did you know the roof needed doing? Was that all?
No, it all happened kind of quickly, but the 3 of us were pushing each other, and so we were making decisions very quickly, but we had access to people that were available, which is hard sometimes. And I'm just trying to get the right builder and the right people involved, and in getting it done at reasonable costs. So we were on top of everything all the time. So yeah. No, it was great. It was great, and we got through that patch very quickly, and we had a grand opening in early December, and we're flying since then. It's been interesting. I mean, for me, I don't have a background in running restaurants. I've worked in restaurants many times, and I have brothers who had hotels and restaurants, and a sister had a pub and a restaurant, and so I'm familiar with to some extent, but not to the same extent as, say, Camillo has a restaurant which is located across the road. In fact, when you're sitting in the restaurant and you're having a bite to eat, you're looking straight into 3 Chips, so you can see what's going on and keep an eye on things. So that's very useful. And then the other partner, Jason, is really his background is accounts and business, and he's eagle-eyed, and he's on top of everything, and it's fantastic to have that combination, because it just the three of us sort of complement each other in different ways, and it helps. And we're not like we're working in the actual shop itself. So we have to, we're employing people, we're training people, we're watching it all and just trying to, and it's a novelty from me and for probably Jason as well. But we're learning fast.
And where did you all meet, and who pitched the idea first?
Killiney Golf Club.
Okay,
we're members there for a long time, and we're just with Jason I met through business when I was managing apartment complexes, and he used to be in the parking and the services and whatever else. So we got to know each other, but we socialised a bit, so we're good friends.
And did it come up over a couple of pints, or like?
No. It's just it literally came up sort of. You'll never guess what's available, and we all sort of smile at each other and says, yeah, let's go for this. This is going to be a bit of fun, and it's great because actually here we are a year into it, probably nearly now, and in October, the three of us are going over to a big food conference in Milan.
Oh wow!
So. So we're interested in this because it's all about new product, new food, new everything, and so when we're able to bring back a few ideas, and we get to spend a few days in Milan and Rome, and again Camilla comes from a small village between Rome and Naples. In fact, there's 4 villages quite close to each other, and it's where all the traditional Italian Irish takeaway families come from.
Wow.
So he has a home there. He's actually there at the moment. So we're going there for 3 days for the fun of it, and we'll get to meet all the local restaurateurs who'll all speak with a Dublin accent.
Love that. I hope so. A nice little perk of the job as well.
Well, it just happens to be like we just get to know each other a little bit better, and nice to see
team building.
Where Camilla's family come from, and look, it's going to be great fun. Of course it is.
And what was it like opening a chipper then in December? Was that difficult, or did it pose any?
No, because I think we were keen to open before Christmas, and just to find our way. I mean, I spent 3 weeks in there peeling potatoes. Over Christmas, because we were just taking on new staff. We didn't know what was involved, and it was great. And then the menu gradually sort of increased. Adding little bits and pieces all the time, and even after 9-10 months now, we're at the stage where we're going to cut back some of the stuff that isn't as isn't selling as well or as much, because the secret going forward really is to not to have such a big menu, but to have a menu that is everybody knows what you're getting, but we're doing it every day. It's consistent, the quality is consistent, and if you're selling a lot of fresh fish, it's fresh. It's you can do it the same day. You're not freezing stuff, and you're not sort of trying to. And I'd say to customers as well, when you see a menu, and I know myself from going to a restaurant, I don't like to see a huge menu with lots and lots of stuff. It makes me think.
Yeah. How good can all of this be?
I mean, you go to a dinner party in someone's house, you don't get a big choice. So if there's a starter, there's a main course, and I love everything. So I'm happy anyway. So if I have less choice, I genuinely I'm more comfortable.
Yeah. You don't want to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Just trying to do what you do and do it well.
Yeah. So that's one of the
use good ingredients.
Yeah, that's been one of the big learnings then for you, that you maybe had too big of a menu at the start. You've kind of rolled that back. Anything else you've kind of learned in the last 10 months or so?
If it was too big, but we're just adjusting a little bit until we get. There's a few little things I'd like to add and to test. But in the beginning, it was about getting the batter right. It was about getting the chips right. And you'd be surprised, you can make little errors, and it's even just the way you're prepping things, the way you're for instance, I mean, portion control, potatoes. We don't buy them in pre-chipped and everything else. We process them ourselves the same day, so they're peeled, they're washed, they're cut, they're ready for cooking every evening, and. But we found, even like if you're not watching what's going on, the peeling machines, if you leave them on for a minute or two too long, you've lost 20% of your potatoes. and that's expensive. I mean, your typical bag of potatoes is a 20 kilo bag, whatever it is, and they're about 20 quid. So, if you're losing 20% in the core, 30, 35 bags a week, you've lost 6 bags, you've lost 100 quid. If you're, and my point even would say is, the nutritional value in potatoes is just under the skin. It's not, if you take away too much of the skin, you're taking away half the goodness. So absolutely. I'm inclined to sort of think that even going forward, we might experiment with washing them properly, of course, and giving them a mild peel, and then prep them for chipping. And so you'll sell them. They'll have part of the skin on. It'll look good, but it'll taste better.
Sounds like those 3 weeks of peeling potatoes that you did at the start.
Yeah, well, you just get to see it, but there's that, of course, and fish portions, fish control, and the different kinds of fish. There's a whole lot of variety of fish, and you can bring in cod, and you can bring in haddock, and there's hake. There's all the various white fish. Some of them are more suitable for the fast food business than others. Cod is very popular in Ireland. I'm not so sure why, because it's not exactly the tastiest of fish, but it is chunkier. But then that causes other problems when you're cooking, because it takes longer. If they're not, if everything isn't consistent, it just doesn't. Your cooking times vary a lot, and when you're in a hurry and you've got a crowded shop, and you want to be producing and serving your customers in an orderly, timely manner. The fish has to be sort of, very, very consistent. So sometimes we probably think that, haddock is probably a better option. Sometimes cod, ling, there's blossom. There's a few more, whatever is, and we like whatever is in season. Whatever is there, we'll try and get.
And how did you go about picking your suppliers? Obviously, you said quality is very important to you.
Well, in fairness, Camillo was been in that business all his life, not necessarily in the takeaway business, but in the restaurant business. But his family would have been, and his brothers and his extended family have certainly been in that business for a long time. So he'd know all the suppliers, and so we focus in on 2 or 3. No more. You can't, if you start using lots of different suppliers, you don't have any loyalty to anybody, and then they don't have any loyalty to you. And we like to build up a good relationship with the fish supplier. So we ask for something, we're going to get it. If the thing comes in, they're giving you preferential treatment, they'll give you the best of what's there, particularly if you're consistently ordering from them and they look after you. And that's really important.
Yeah.
So and we're getting to the stage now where we're getting to understand, portion control. The batter was really important. I mean, we tried 6 different batters before we settled on something that we liked, and so I said, "This is better than anything," because, in the end of the day, fish isn't like anything. It's not like buying a burger or buying chicken or something else. If that batter, if it's not eaten within 15 minutes, the texture of the batter, degrades a bit, and so you want to get it out fast, and you want it to be crispy, and we have engaged experts. From the north of Ireland, they came down to teach us on the uses of various different kinds of batters and how one might suit more than another. And so we've tested and tried a lot of different things, and we're finally getting we have got it right for a couple of months at this stage now, where we've got the batter right, and even the chips, and we use beef lard.
Oh, nice.
We don't use oil. It leaves a bad smell and taste. So we use we prefer beef lard. Now, that's not to say that we won't change and provide something else for vegans or for in future, because we would like to have a gluten-free batter as well. It'd be a nice thing to have in the future. So they're things we want to sort of look at as we go forward.
So these kind of batter changes and these little tweaks you've been making, you've kind of been doing this while open, so you've kind of been learning on your feet.
No, definitely. And we get loads of feedback. Most of it, in fairness, it's been fabulous. You get the odd person who was, I'd be lying with it and say the other person said, oh, look, but something was cold. But you'd be surprised why. We've had people in the shop, they'll come in, they'll have earphones on and they're listening to music, they make an order and they're looking out the window, they're not listening to, the order, the number is called, could be calling them 3 times, you're not sure who it is, and next time they come around, they come up and say, where's my chip? And then you give them to them, of course, it's been there for 15 minutes, and they're there complaining afterwards, you can't win.
No, absolutely, yeah. But all the feedback is important, right?
Yeah, no, it is. No, absolutely. And we're trying to do lots of little things in relation to marketing. So, like, we're in a beautiful place in Dalkey. We're really lucky. We're on the main street. We've the only sort of fish and chip shop in town, and we like to think of it as this is going to be, top drawer. It's going to be really good product. But we're encouraging people. We have a lot of visitors come to Dalkey, so we're now going to start promoting picnic areas. Places to go and bring your 3 chips for a tasty little picnic, and you can bring a little chilled glass of wine with you or something, hopefully in time, maybe cold beer, and take it with you, or an ice cream, whatever. So there'll be little things we're going to do that will do that, and that's obviously a summer thing, but there's so many nice places to go within 5 minutes, and so we're taking photographs now of 3 chips in beautiful beauty spots to encourage people. Our burger is called the Great Double Bullock. So
great name.
Yeah, it was great, and it looks great. It tastes great, even better. Look, there's loads of little things that we want to do, and we're just trying to I suppose, just to tweak it all the time.
Yeah, which is great. And as a consumer of that type of food, it's great to know that you're always trying to improve. It's always good to go to. I know.
Look, we're seriously passionate about getting it right. Yeah. I mean, it has to be right.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is we're here for the long term, and it's an investment. Like, we can talk about costs and stuff in a minute, but it's not an easy business to make when you really have to build up the clientele and the loyalty factor from locals and the repeat business. And if you don't, that doesn't happen, you haven't succeeded. Yeah. And it's going to take us. We appreciate it's going to take us 2 years. It's not as if we're working in the shop. It's different if you're working there 14 hours a day, like you're working hard, and the business is yours, and you're kind of working for minimum wage almost when you're doing those kind of hours. Yeah. But if it's your own business and the family involved, it's different. That model has changed completely over the last 20, 30 years. Very few family businesses like that sort of exist, and even the whole way we order food, and COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
Most restaurants started doing takeaway food. So, I mean, even in a village like Dalkey, the pubs are doing fish and chips.
Yeah.
At least 3 of them are. No, it's more expensive, and you're sitting down in a pub. It's different environment. But it's not just fish and chips either. I mean, because we're doing other things, obviously. So we have to compete with that. And some of the restaurants do as well. They also serve. People like fish and chips, and so we like to think we'll be doing it right and producing the best fare that we can. So that's the plan.
Dalkey kind of comes with a little bit of pressure as well, doesn't it? Like, there's a certain expectation if you're going there. There's a lot of good restaurants. I love the Villes on the
there's great, and credit to Camillo across the street. Benitez is a fabulous restaurant, and their food's wonderful. Yeah. I'm not just saying that because he probably see this. He'd be giving me the thumbs up afterwards. But it is wonderful. It's a wonderful restaurant, and his staff are fabulous. And it's great to have him across the road. He's like sort of hands on all the time, and we really appreciate it. We're lucky.
Are you doing the social media thing?
Funny enough, I was just saying to one of your staff outside, Coletta, that my daughter is she's a graduate from Trinity in film and screenwriting, and she's done a master's in screenwriting. So now she's doing her another master's in social media. She just finished it. So we're one of her study cases. So she's working with us and helping us to produce social media content, and she's great. So we're very lucky. So we'll keep that in the family for the time being until we get established again and we have a proper routine. But that's like, if you bring in outside help there, it's expensive. It's really expensive, and we're not at that strength level yet that we can afford to spend money flahulically, sort of, because you just need to be kind of cautious. We're trying to, for us, our objective is to break even in year one, and that's a really tall order. Probably take us 2 years to start making a few bob. And though it's not, we're not dependent on, like, it's not always about the money. Of course, it's about the money. We have to make a profit, and it has to pay its way. We can't be losing money, but we're going to do it properly and slowly until we get it right. But we're not foolish enough to think that, we're not making money within 6 or 12 months. Because it takes time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's a common misconception that people think,
I'll
open up a restaurant 6 months later, be rolling in it, have a Ferrari.
I'm in the property business. I'm an estate agent for the last 42 years. I've dealt with an awful lot of commercial property and residential property, and I can tell you from dealing with restaurant leases, buying and selling them for behalf of clients and whatever else, like the amount of restaurants that don't make it. It's a huge percentage of startups fail. Why? Because they haven't thought it through. And if I opened that business myself on my own, I'd have failed, because I don't have the experience of someone like Camilla or Jason, who's the numbers man, watching the pennies and the euros, because it's really, you can be naive enough to say, I can do this, and I can open a coffee shop. The amount of coffee shops, pubs and restaurants that have closed in Ireland in the last 2 or 3 years, I think there's 2,000 pubs have closed in the last 5 years. And I know that for a fact, because I have family sort of connections down the country, and it's very different. I was down 2 weeks ago at my 50th school reunion in Killorglin in Kerry. When I was going to school there back in 1975, there were 32 licensed premises. Today there's 11.
Oh wow!
That's
a huge deterioration.
Yeah, they're gone. And I'm walking around the town. All the sort of small shops that were there, they're gone, because the big multiples in Killarney and the Lidls, the Aldis, they've hoovered up all the small shops. There are no drapery shops anymore. Very few of them in small little towns, because the people are buying online. So the world has changed completely. And it's funny walking around that little town 2 weeks ago. I was kind of looking. There was a half dozen takeaways, but they're only there for the summer. They close in September. They're gone.
Because it's a massively seasonal.
Yeah.
I was going to actually ask you about
that. And you'd
that.
wonder, how does somebody, they're there for how do they sort of generate? There's one or two of them will probably stay open all year round, but you're there start thinking, the investment and the staff and the machinery and the equipment. How can they make money? So of course they don't. They open on a whim, thinking, this is a great idea. Because there's loads of festivals and whatever, but there isn't that many. There isn't enough of them to sustain you. An Irish summer, for any of the resorts around Ireland, you take, Tramore, Ballybunion, up in Sligo, Bundoran, and these places, they have a season of at its max about 3 months, and it's probably more likely to be sort of early June to late August. So that's about maybe 10 weeks max. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you have to do almost all your business in that.
And you've lease, you've rates, rent, maintenance, painting, cleaning.
Yeah.
Jesus, God, the end. I'm quite amazed when I've started looking at the outlay of things that we have to pay for, and aside from leasing costs, because we've invested heavily in top class machinery, and the Rolls-Royce of fryers and stuff like that came in from Holland, weighs a ton. They delivered to the Dalkey at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had about 8 people on a crane taking it off a lorry, trying to get it through the door into in pieces to put it back together again inside. And but it's fantastic. It's
worth its salt.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. And it'll keep us going for 20 years. So, but we have high leasing costs for the next 5 years, and that's the fact of that. And even before we do anything, you have to cover that every month. You have to cover your salaries, and we even have to probably cut back. We might even have to cut out a day a week when things are quiet, because you just can't have staff on. You're just losing money.
Yeah.
So we got to just we'll tweak that as we see fit.
And have you seen those seasonal peaks and troughs?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, in the beginning, it's it's going to be slow, but it's building up. As we got into April, May, June, you could see the increase as the weather got better.
Yeah.
And through the summer, it's been pretty good. But even now, just in the last week or two, weather is terrible.
Yeah.
You can see it in the last week or two, and you're there thinking, right, we need that the business that will come from online orders and delivery. So we're going to start pushing that now over the next couple of months.
Great. And how is online ordering for you? Is that a huge part of your business? Or
That's
is it
it. No. At the moment, you can order. There's a lot of ordering online and collection because it's local.
Yeah.
So a lot of your clients are local. There are not too many people are ordering from long distances, and even then, we'd probably be advising them, look, no, order and collect. But delivery, no.
You're not doing delivery at all?
No, we are doing it, but we're doing it local.
Okay, yeah.
And it's coming on. Every couple of weeks you can see a little marked improvement. So we're going to ramp it up a little bit over the next couple of weeks and do a lot of marketing and advertising and offers and hopefully by Christmas we'll have a sort of a core sort of number every week.
Yeah. And are you open late, or what sort of hours do you operate?
We're open till 10 most nights, so it's kind of a 3 to 10 thing. On Fridays and Saturdays, we probably open at lunch hour. We're going to look at that again as well. So because you have to factor in holiday time for staff and you're always trying to bring on staff because in the nature of this business, people don't stay with you for long periods of time. You're lucky if somebody stays with you for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's more likely to be a couple of months. Because the cooks, particularly, you're doing the same thing all the time. And then they might want to move into a more sophisticated kitchen where they're going to learn more.
Yeah.
And if you've got ambitions that way, and some people don't, and they're quite happy just to do what they're doing. But again, it's about repetition and time and quality. So
good place to cut the teeth.
Yeah, we have to bring people on all the time. So some of the younger staff coming in are up for it. Yeah. And so it takes all sorts, So and you need a good front of house person who's warm and friendly and who can talk to people and chit chat, and it's important.
Am I right in thinking you're doing kiosk as well? You've got the kiosk in there.
Yeah, with the kiosk, 90% of our business is through the kiosk.
Oh, wow!
We take very little cash.
Amazing.
It's great, and that's the way we want it. It's sort of it's manageable. Flipdish has been great. I have to say, I think it's been like we've got to where we are relatively quickly, and with a lot of help and support, and very appreciative of it. And fair play to your staff.
That's great to hear. But it's interesting to see that shift of even consumer behaviour to use the kiosk. And they're kind of ignored a couple of years ago, and now, like you said, maybe COVID is kind of. And
some older people come in and they're a little bit unsure, and particularly when they're busy, one of the staff will come out, let me show you, and it's kind of a bit of fun, and they're kind of you're chit chatting to them anyway, and sort of say, and of course we've our it's a village, so across the road you've the King's Inn, is a lovely pub, and there's loads of little and the Queen's has just reopened again recently, so that's good for us because it's busy, and the car park is across the road from the shop as well, and the church, so that's really handy because people can stop, pull in, go in and get what they want and whatever. Yeah. But you get people coming in and say, look, it'll be ready in 10 minutes, so they slip across the road for a quick pint. And of course, the lads in the bar are laughing. The first day I went in, you the new owner of the place across the road, there's a pint on the house for you here.
Love that.
I know, they're great, and the lads are great. No, so there's a real repartee, a bit of crack between all the coffee shop owners and the restaurants, and Camilla would know every one of them anyway. I mean, I've got to know quite a few of them, and I love being in the shop when people come in, so you have a chat with anybody, and you'll ask them, how are your fish and chips? Are you enjoying it? Do you like it? Any complaints? What can we do make it better? And that's what it has to be.
Yeah, it's particularly in that infancy, you need to be able to take feedback on board.
Yeah, but a little bit of chit chat is fun, and you get to know people, and they're like it's a small place.
Yeah,
so you get to see familiar faces, and there are a few guys come in, and they're regulars, like they're all regular. They're thinking, geez, I couldn't eat fish and chips 3 or 4 days a week,
But thankfully, to
somebody's
you,
here, somebody does. So must be doing something right.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. So what's the plan now for maybe the next 5 years? What does that look like?
Well, first of all, we just want to establish a thriving business that people will go to, and they'll talk about going out on a Saturday or Sunday. Let's go to Dalkey and let's do this and let's go for a walk, and maybe we pop in and have. So just it's like building up a name. It's like, I suppose, Beshoff's inside in town, or all the rights of Hoth and people like that. I mean, you want, so 3 Chips of Dalkey, I want it to be sort of recognised instead of saying, yeah, there's a great place out there. Yeah. Let's do that. And maybe we will introduce 1 or 2 of our own specific products. And hence we're going to Milan. You never know, we might come back with something, a nice little treat for the punters.
Love that.
So I like, and I'm always looking for that would excite me. And if it's great, God knows where we'll be in a couple of years' time. It'd be lovely to open another one. But I think we must crawl before we walk and get it right. It has to be right.
And so far, are you enjoying it as much as you? Obviously, it was a dream to open it.
I love it. I love it, and we get a lot of crack, a lot of fun. And people know who you are, and they're appreciative. You get people coming to us and they're saying, "Yeah, no, I was down last week. It was lovely. We decided somebody told me about it or whatever." So you get, it's nice to get a bit of feedback. And like we're locals. We live out there, so you get to know a lot of people, and so everybody's asking.
Yeah. What would you, if there was one thing you could know, if we went back to September of last year, is there one thing that you'd be like, I wish I knew that before I got into this?
Oh, it's a hard business. You have to, you really have to work awful hard. And there's I suppose the regulation stuff, and even the accounting side of it, I never realised that there's so much to it. And I should have realised it, because I'm in business a long time and I know the complexity of anything you do. You'd be naive if you don't think that there's a lot more to it. But certainly in the food industry, and the impact. And you also hear the news and people complaining about VAT and all this thing. Jesus, it really is a big burden, and we're buying from suppliers. We're using people like yourselves. We're using internet access. We're using refrigeration. We have security, fire alarms, accountants. We're paying everybody. Yeah. So we're supporting all these other businesses, and we're paying our taxes, and we're creating jobs. So and it's kind of sad to see a lot of these businesses aren't able to sustain themselves. So we have to do an inordinate amount of business to actually survive. So we have to get up to that level. So we have to be patient and get up to that. I never realised what a difficult business it is. It is a difficult business, but there'll be a lot of. We're having a great laugh. We're enjoying it. So I mean, I'm sort of semi. I'm not really retired. I'll never retire. I'm still working at what I'm doing, and I'm going to start another business next year.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep going. I'll die. I'll work till the day I die. I just love doing different things, and I need the stimulation of it. Yeah. But my wife was thrilled when I told her this is what we're doing, and she says, "Yippee!" Instead of, she says, "God, you'll be out of my hair for the next 10 years."
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, no, she's delighted. Nice. Yeah. And she gets the bit of scampi out of it. She's happy.
I love that. So obviously the online ordering is something that you'll probably look into and maybe.
I know it has to be part of our development, like the critical part of it. That extra 25% of turnover will make or break us. Yeah. So we have to get there. Yeah. And we will turn over every stone till we get that right, and we'll market it and we'll invest a bit in that over the next 6 months until we and hopefully that'll give us a sort of a fairly stable base. And hopefully then if we can add a few little things to the menu and get rid of a few other things that are not productive, well then we'll see. We hopefully and who knows. It
all makes a big difference, and I think that was one of the things that I learned coming to Flipdish 5 years ago was. I thought, if you're a restaurant owner, you're driving a Ferrari or all this kind of stuff. But it's tiny margins, single-digit margins that people are working with, and all these kind of things you're talking. These little tweaks make a huge difference to how the business runs.
It's like cutting the potatoes. I'm telling you that's going to make a difference. Yeah. portion control, and you can see it sometimes with staff. They're filling a bag of chips, they put in a little bit extra, but sometimes they're filling up the outside bag to the top. So it's like you've given 2 portions out, and people can't finish them even. So you're wasting a product, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
And people they'll complain if you increase the bag of chips by 50p, but potatoes have gone through the roof in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so all these things, and fish isn't, it's really high price premium product. It's protein, and it's and beef has got really expensive. We don't use a lot of beef. We have beef burgers, I suppose. We do, of course, and sausage meat and whatever else for sausages. But it's all got expensive, and nothing's cheap in Ireland.
Yeah, and there's so much going on. We were in Flipdish. We were in at the protests last year about the government VAT increase, and just hearing, very impassioned people that, this is kind of this difference, that 4.5% between 9 and 13 is a huge impact on their business. And
I'm the first to admit, before I knew anything about this business, I couldn't care less. It's never thought they're just complaining and moaning about this, that and the other. A totally different attitude when you're in the business, and your rents are going up, your rates are going up, the cost of electricity is going up, our gas and electricity bill every month is through the roof, and you're there thinking, how did they survive? And I look back, and my brother had a couple of good hotels and a couple of good restaurants, and he'd say he never made any money out of in the restaurants. They were always hand to mouth, sort of going for, and eventually offloaded the lease and whatever. But the only time they ever made any money was when they sold the properties. Unfortunately, they had the property for 10, 15, 20 years, and when they sold it, that was their out. It wasn't the business. And a lot of that business is personal, because you're there, you're the people. If you're in a restaurant, people come in to see you, and you're nursing those clients along, and you're looking after them, and if you don't treat them right, they don't come back. And if they don't have a positive experience when they go out to your restaurant at night time, they're gone. They go to the next place.
Absolutely.
So, and you need to keep the quality of the food up. If the food isn't up to scratch, you're wasting your time.
Absolutely. And I think people are eating out less because it is more expensive, so they're much less likely to go somewhere that's below.
Absolutely. I'm a typical middle class person living in Dublin, and I can't afford. I go out once a month, once a month we might have a bite to eat, but it's not a lot. And even going to the pub, from before, where you never bat an eyelid about going off out there. Right. So most of us will have a few glasses of wine at home, or you'll have friends in for dinner or something like that. Yeah. But people can't afford it, and people are watching. They're watching there, and God bless the Lidl and Aldi coming to Ireland. I think it was the best thing that ever happened to shake up the retail food market here, because our supermarkets were cleaning up and they were robbing us.
But it almost puts the pressure on now for you and your business that it has to be excellent. Then, if somebody is going to go out, it has to be good.
No, you want them to be you want them to sort of say, "That was fabulous. Let's do that next week." Or if they're thinking of having a treat, look, this is tip top. Let's have that. And again, it's an impulse thing, I suppose. You're on the street, you're coming back from the bar, you're having a pint, or you're going out earlier, or before you go out, you say, "Listen, we'll just grab something quickly. I don't want to sit down for 2 hours in a restaurant, but this is perfect. We'll order that in, and we're off then for the evening." And of course, you can do. But there are so many offerings out there. You can, whether there's other fast food, whether they're curry houses, or they're Indian takeaways or Chinese or whatever. There's plenty on offer. So, whatever you do, you have to do it well.
Absolutely. Any
quick moment, sorry. I'm going to let you carry on a second. Just want to let someone know in the background here.
Sure.
Sorry. No worries. We'll just chop that out.
Yeah. Am I talking too much?
No, you're talking exactly the right amount. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I could see somebody walking up and down out there. Oh yeah, I can see them in your camera. There's the background is
moving. Yeah.
Who was it? Andrew. Who was it?
I can just see movement down there in the background. I'm just trying to get
tell him to go away.
Seems clear and looking good. Oh, it's good. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Sorry, I lost my train of thought now. Let me just think about my next. Oh yeah, okay. So, is there anyone that you've met, maybe it might not be in the last year or so, but maybe during your career, that's given you some excellent advice that you take into what you're doing now? Any particular piece of advice that really stands out, do you feel is useful in the restaurant game?
Well, because I worked even as a kid when I was a student in college. I used to work in the Grey Door on Pembroke Street, and I used to work in restaurants. And again, to work in a place where quality became sort of, it was paramount. And even I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and my oldest brother I worked with for years and years. He was 17 years older than me, and he used to rewrite every letter I wrote for about 5 years, because I just I was a novice, and I'd take shortcuts, and I learned you cannot take shortcuts if you want to do anything right. You have to be patient, and you have to put the effort in and the time in. Otherwise, you will fall flat on your face. And I was blessed to have good people mentoring me, because I would have made loads of mistakes, and I'd probably still make loads of mistakes if I didn't have people monitoring what I do and helping me and pulling me up for little mistakes. And I know I'm still capable of making mistakes, and we will probably make mistakes, but we'll do our best to rectify and learn from them. And I don't mind doing them. When we get constructive criticism and anything, we will respond to it. If it's constructive, you don't want people sort of, making your life miserable because they're nasty people or whatever.
Yeah, of course. I love that. You're right. Absolutely right. There's no shortcuts. My dad always had a phrase for me as well. He'd always say, "It's not easy, and if it was, everyone would be doing it." Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I said it to my kids as well. And look at the other thing that's really important. I think is it's passion. If you have a passion for something. And we have a passion for this. We're really passionate about getting this right. And it's really important. I mean, if you're halfway there, because you're not going to accept anything less than sort of something that is worthwhile. So we will. That's going to be the mantra. So we have to do that, and I hope we succeed. I mean, I genuinely do. I think we will.
And I think the fact that you have the foresight to know that it's not going to be a quick win. It is.
This isn't going to be quick. No, I accept that. But I'd be happy enough. At the end of the day, if we get to a place in 2 or 3 years' time, and it's stable and it's making a bit of money, and we're able to sort of maybe, evolve in a certain kind of way. I don't think we should ever stand still. I'd like to think that we'd be adding little bits and changing little bits and doing things a bit differently and moving with the times, and maybe the menu will do the same. I mean, it'd be lovely to have. I mean, nothing would please me more than if we were selling really high-end fish. Oh, it might cost an arm and a leg, but if there's a market for it,
yeah,
I'd be happy to do it. I think it's absolutely. Wouldn't people want to travel? And there are people who they're not as money conscious, but it'd be nice to be able to sort of to produce, really top class, brill and sunfish, I mean, all these wonderful, turbot. I mean, I can't imagine that you go to a chipper to buy turbot. I mean, it costs you an arm and a leg. But look, you have Wagyu beef. You have all these people who are, and of course steaks nowadays. Nobody can afford to buy a steak in a restaurant. I mean, you can hardly buy a steak for 40, 50 quid now.
Yeah.
And apparently in America it's like it's worse. It's nearly $80, $90 for a steak, and even the quality what they get over there. I mean, it's nothing compared to what we have.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and it does change. Any particular standout moments in the last 10 months that you really loved, or something like a good day, or something that happened that you went, "I'm doing the right thing here"?
Joe, there's been plenty of them. There's been loads of I don't know. Look at opening was brilliant. It was exciting. We had a big sort of opening pre-Christmas, and there was a great turnout at it, and a lot of goodwill. And I just love some of the older people coming into the shop and telling you. They're delighted because they had no chipper for the last 2 years, and that it's great, and that they like what they're what's happening. I don't know if I could pick out. For me, it's the crack we're having. I mean, I love all our meetings. they're usually very entertaining. We always have maybe we might have a bite to eat or a drink or something or whatever. So
sometimes you end up in Milan.
Yeah. Well, no, that's going to happen in a few weeks' time. So yeah, no. Look, we're just excited about bringing it to the next level, and just keep our feet firmly on the ground in the meantime, and try to do the best we can to get there.
And obviously, you've got a really good relationship with the guys that you're working with at the moment. Any advice for someone who's trying to pick a business partner, or you know, do you have to like them? Do you have to be mates with them? Is there?
Yeah. No, look at you know. At the end of the day, you're going to be together. You've got if you don't, it's one thing working with friends, but if your friends haven't got the business skills or the hunger to work, and put the hours in, I mean, you know, they're no help to you. You know, you kind of you don't have to be old best friends or anything like that, but you need to be bringing you know, aside from the investment.
Yeah.
You know, putting money into something, it really is to me. It's critical that you can all sit down and have a chat about something, and we're all bringing something a little bit different. And we would say to each other, "That's not my baby. You're better at that. You take that on." They wouldn't come in here today now because they were. So if they're looking at this, they'll have to go, Wyse, you do all the talking.
Okay, yeah.
So I started laughing. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, everyone has their lane and they're sticking in it.
Yeah, no. So I couldn't exactly refute. Not that I'd want to delighted to be here.
No, it's great, and I think it requires a level of being humble enough to say, well, I'm not. That's not my strength. This person is really good at that. Let's let them.
Yeah, but and it helps with a sense of humour. You know, so yeah. No, look, we're quite happy to learn from others as well. Like we will listen to advice, and we'll take professional advice. It's some people think they know it all, and they stumble. I think it's a. There are money issues, obviously, for some people. You have to wherewithal to invest in things at a particular time, and so you have to be kind of cost conscious about everything. You can't just jump into everything and spend this, that, and the other. You're trying to space things out and work to a budget and stick to it.
So any really important or influential people you've met along the way that have provided you that help? Anyone who sticks out that you go, oh, it was great meeting them?
Well, we had a couple of guys came down from the north. I can't remember the name of the setup. It's pity actually. Camilo probably have them on his fingertips, but they were great. They came down for a day. They're professionals from, and they do courses in the north of Ireland on this business. Okay. And they came down with weighing scales. They came down with notes. We started at 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the evening. We looked at every single aspect of what we do in the shop. Wow. And it was useful. I'm not saying that it changed an awful lot, but it certainly made us aware of all the little things that we have to do, and and so now we're on top of stuff, and we have and I would say with Camilo's extended family are great as well, because he can tap into their experience and advices. So that's not to be taken for granted.
Absolutely, and
they're great, and we appreciate any help we can get from anybody.
Yeah, even if they weren't tweaking things, I suppose there's a value in even just knowing that what you're doing is correct, right?
They'll come up and do a quality analysis, and they'll look at you, so they'll tell you quick enough. Say, that's good, that's not good. Yeah, maybe you should be doing this when we do that better in our shop. Yeah. So that's fine.
You need all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think people aren't slow to tell you if you're making a mistake. They'll tell you fairly fast.
Yeah. What's your order then? If you were going to order from Three Chips, what are you?
I'm a complete pleb now. I do love fish and chips, and I love the prawns, but I'm the battered sausage man.
That same as myself. Yeah, absolutely.
I love them, and we have these gorgeous burgers now, and they really are to die for. So if you're hungry, the burger's lovely, but the fish is great. Look, the fish is fresh, and it's adorable. When you sit down to nothing like it.
But you're going battered sausage, chips, and are you having a sauce or anything with that?
Well, the tartar sauces for the fish are obviously that. But for me, it's I'm just. Look, I'm not interested in the. We were doing a little bit of the chili sauces earlier on. We might go back to that again at some stage as well, because the chili chips, I love that. It was delicious, and there are other things that I want to do with a bit of luck. We'll have a fish medley. Because I like different things. I love to have a few prawns, a bit of calamari, a bit of fish, bit of this, bit of that, and nice. Just in a box. Yeah, that kind of thing to me would it reminds me of holidays, but it's fresh, it's fabulous.
Okay, these are just a couple of quick fire questions that we have. Best pint of Guinness in Dublin?
Ooh, gee, that's a good one. For me, it's Fitzgerald's in Sandy Cove.
Lovely, great. Where's your favourite restaurant to eat in Dublin?
Ooh,
You're going to upset some people now, but
yeah, no. Oh gosh, there's actually an awful lot. I don't have an absolute favourite. I mean, they're the obvious sort of chapter ones and places like that are a big treat to go to places like that. But we have some. I love Rassam in Glastool. I love cooking Indian food. So, and I think we're blessed in this part of the world. We have some fantastic eateries that produce really quality food. Pickle Inside in Town's another one in Camden Street. But there's great Italian restaurants as well. And in Dalkey we're blessed with between Benito's, DeVille's, and a few more. Look, it depends on what your preference is, but they're all local restaurants, but I don't go to town as much as I used to.
Yeah. So
I couldn't. I don't want to be sort of a critique when I don't have. I don't go out enough.
No, but it's great, and you're absolutely. Rassam is one of my favourites. Myself and my family do Christmas Eve dinner there every year, and it's just phenomenally good.
Yeah, no, I years ago in Jaipur, I remember I went into the guy who was the head chef in Jaipur Inside in Town years ago, and said I wanted to learn from him because he was the best chef in Ireland, and he said, no, but I don't teach people. I said, shame on you. I said, I'm your biggest fan, and you know. So he eventually took me in on Fridays, for every Friday for about 6 weeks, and he taught me to cook curries and bits and bobs, and he bought me pots and pans, and I helped him buy a house. And so we became friends. So, but it was great fun.
Seems like a fair trade.
Yeah,
to be honest.
No, but I learn, and I'm going over to Camilla's home village. I have every intention of going into the kitchens, into the mamas, and watching what they're doing, and maybe they'll teach me a few tricks.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the fun of even in the fish and chips. We will probably have some novel ideas over the next year or two. Hopefully, we'll come up with some. There might be a weekend when we'll do things that'll be just we'll up the ante and do things a little differently, so people hear about it and want to come out and try and taste it or something. So maybe there's scope to do things like that. I hope we do.
Yeah, me too. I'll be out there.
Yeah, and and even those things that sometimes it's going to be more expensive. But if you're getting something a little different, and it's top quality, I just think people will be interested. I mean, there's been a great growth in food vans all over the country. Some of them are just spectacular. Some of the stuff that they're producing. So great stuff, it's great to see it. The more that happens, the better. I mean, we have to be adventurous and try and develop, more food ideas. There's never enough new ideas.
And those definitely used to be looked down on as well, like a food van or a food truck. You wouldn't go near them 15 years ago, but now it's like that's where you can get some of the best food in Dublin.
Yeah, but you go to any big cities in Europe, and you can go to Bordeaux, you can go to Paris, you go to Milan, you go to any of the big cities, and the markets in London are just magnificent. Now, they're expensive, they're not cheap, but you can eat anything from anywhere, and it's a joy. Yeah. My biggest buzz was I think it was in Edinburgh 2 years ago. I found a Caribbean takeaway doing jerk chicken. I never tasted anything like it. It was just phenomenal. Yeah. And it wasn't expensive. But when I was there thinking, I was still talking about it.
It's great that food will just kind of take you back to a certain place or remind you somewhere. Like it really has that power.
I hope we'll do that someday with ours. So maybe that's the plan.
What would be your death row meal? Starter, main course, dessert. Last meal
Jesus
ever.
God, that's
what
a good one. Oh, starter. I think the main course would be a fish risotto or something like that. Yeah.
First person hasn't said steak now in a while.
No. And desserts. I do a passion fruit and lemon roulade or something.
Oh, wow, okay. And for starter, what do we have?
Starter, oh, gosh. Oh, geez, I love a really good chowder.
Yeah, love it as well.
Yeah, really
great.
I mean, they probably wouldn't go in the same order, but
Yeah.
but I like all those things. I'd eat anything.
Yeah. For the last one, it would be important. That's great to hear. And then one person that you think would be someone that you've met along the way in your kind of hospitality journey, do you think would be a great guest to have onto the podcast if we were to have somebody on?
Michel Blanc.
Okay, who's this?
He's the Master Chef's Master Chef.
Okay.
And I met him by chance last year. I got an invite to Arsenal Stadium to the director's box.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
are you an Arsenal fan?
No, I'm not. I'm a Chelsea fan.
I'm a Chelsea fan as well.
Yeah, and they got beaten 5-0, unfortunately. But the football became secondary because I wasn't expecting. I was going. My son's best friend is a commercial manager there, and so he invited myself, and so we arrive up to the box, and of course, the Cronkies, all the owners are there, and all the seats are big armchairs with little buttons on them to heat your bottom. And so you go upstairs anyway, and he says, "No, we're going upstairs to the restaurant upstairs." So what's happening in the restaurant? I said, "We're going for a bite to eat." He said, "Oh no, back to a bite to eat." So it was called the Diamond Club. And it's a Michelin star restaurant. I didn't know this, so I'm sitting at the table anyway, and eating my star main course. And next thing, there's a little man standing behind me, and he says, "Thomas," in his best French accent. He says, "Peter." He says, "You've your friend Peter from Dublin." So I look around. Of course, it's your man. I said, "Jesus Christ, look who it is! God, give us a hug." So he brought me into the kitchen for 20 minutes, and we made mashed potato. And he was and he introduced me to everybody, and we had photographs and all that. But he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
And he likes normal, natural food. So his thing would be, your beef bourguignon, and he does things like that, the French way, and but with some love and passion. So yeah, no. If I was bringing a chef in to come in and visit, I'd have to get the apron on, all right.
Did you learn anything about making mashed potatoes from his?
Yeah, and I said to him, I said, "What are you putting in lashings of butter?" And I said, no, because I said, "Well, we like our butter." And I said, "What about cream?" No. It says warm milk, not cold milk. He says warm milk, and he had it into. It got it was quite soft. It was quite much softer than I'd normally have it, a bit fluffy.
Wow. Okay.
But I love lashings of butter and cream and all the nice.
Very Irish thing too.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, she was laughing at me, and I said, "Yeah, no, fair play."
Jeez, that's a great person, particularly since you're so into cooking. Like, what a great person.
But I love. I love. Just we have a lot of good chefs. I mean, the Evan Maguires. I mean, Rachel Allen, a fabulous lady. And I went to Ballymena many times, and I like she walked into my shop. I mean, I love her. She's real earthy, and she just wants, it's just goodness, down to goodness. Brilliant. We've brilliant food in Ireland.
Yeah,
we've some of the best food in Ireland. I mean, when I think about what you get when you go to America, and I've loads of relatives over in California. It's all Mexican food. I'm not dissing Mexican food and everything else, but there seems to be a lack of quality unless you're prepared to pay an absolute fortune.
Yeah, it's more the produce really than the type.
And
of
then
food,
a lot of the American produce, again, their beef is all reared on meal. It's not. They don't walk the fields like our cattle feed on grass. And we've beautiful milk and butter.
Yeah.
And we've fabulous fish in this country as well. Of course, we export most of it, which is a shame.
It is crazy. I was in the Philippines a couple of years ago for work, and we're in a really nice restaurant, and Irish fillet steak on the menu, which I ordered, and I'm like, I'm about nearly as far away from home as I can get, and I'm getting a cow from down the road.
Oh man, it's like we don't, and it's a shame that we have to export. It's a pity we don't grow an awful lot more vegetables here, because like we have the land. We've enough land here to feed 30-40 million people, and we just don't. It's a shame that the number of people leaving the land, and it's funny because the ploughing championship is on today, and there's only 7 or 8% of the working population working on the land now. It used to be 40-45% population, but so there's a big shift away, and it's a pity.
Yeah, and I suppose, well, hopefully machinery is doing a lot of it, and there's just less people required. But you're right, we have something very special here. The grass, the soil, everything is.
And we've very talented people. There's some very talented cooks and chefs and people who are ploughing a real sort of career for themselves, and they're so talented. We're blessed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're great. Yeah. So my last question for you then is, where can people find you on social media, or are you on LinkedIn? Is there a website? Where do people go?
3chips.ie.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, I'm probably the last person to be like my daughter would kill me, of course, for because I haven't. Dad, you should said this and this and this. If you Google, you'll find the links to us, all right, and we're there, and through Flipdish, and we will be Just Eat now as well. We're starting to use them for the online ordering and stuff as well.
Okay, so you're in a couple of different.
Yeah, we're starting, and we will expand that as well over the next couple of months. And we're offering all sorts of if they get onto our app, there's all sorts of offers all the time. So we're so that's the way to order. You'll get your first 20% off the first meal, and then you'll get your every 10th meal is free or whatever.
Well, I was lucky enough to be out in your restaurant last year doing a little bit of training with your staff. It's a lovely restaurant located in a fantastic spot in Dalkey. So I wish you the best of luck with it, and I really want to thank you for taking the time to come in and chat to us today.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Lovely to hang out with you for a while.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.